Greetings. I'm David Feldman, CEO and co-founder of Skip Intro Advisors, a cannabis and psychedelics focused consulting and strategy advisory firm. I'm also the managing partner of Feldman Legal Advisors, an affiliated law firm with Skip Intro. Figured I would talk about two quick topics on this 5-minute video. First is where cannabis legalization is going, and the second is a little bit about the world of finance and psychedelics. The main thing I've been pushing on the legalization of cannabis side that seems to not be in the conversation at all in the United States is something that 50 countries have already done, which is to federally legalize medical cannabis. We don't even have that here. 50 countries do. 39 states have legalized medical cannabis, including a number of red states. It is a non-controversial, bipartisan issue that seems to have very broad support. 92% of Americans favor legalizing medical marijuana, and that could get done, one would think, fairly quickly if Congress were to be presented with that opportunity. The legalization efforts seem to be focused on either a complete full legalization of adult use, which seems very hard politically to do right now, or a kind of piecemeal, step-by-step. First we do safe banking, then we do research, then we do veterans, and that sounds a bit painful, frankly. So there are treaty limitations that could also impact on our ability to legalize adult use here, but that does not apply to medical marijuana. What would be the advantages? We would have an import-export market of the medical products. We would have interstate commerce between the states. The companies that pursue medical licenses would have the opportunity to be listed on major exchanges, which the top multi-state operators in the U.S. do not currently. The U.S. government would offer trademark protection to these companies. You could invite institutional investors that currently are not looking to invest in businesses that are still federally illegal. The tax discrimination under what's called Section 280E, which does not allow cannabis companies to deduct their ordinary business expenses, would no longer apply to these companies. Big multi-state operators that are already doing some medical and some adult use could spin off their adult use portions of the business and take that public and raise money and go to NASDAQ and so on. So, our feeling is that this is a great opportunity if somebody would make that suggestion. And I've spoken to a few advocates who are realizing that that could be a very positive direction for us to take. I recently ran a panel in Chicago with 3 of the top stock analysts in the space. And I asked them a simple question at the end: which do you think is more correct, that cannabis will be legal in less than 5 years in the US or more than 5 years? And 2 of the 3 of them said more than 5 years. So now let's turn a little bit to the financing of the psychedelics business, which really primarily has been focused on the dozens and dozens of companies that are seeking to pursue clinical trials to develop new therapeutics that would be federally approved by the FDA in the US and other countries as well, to be safe and effective to treat a variety of mental illnesses. Everything from depression, anxiety, addiction, and so on. These are the eating disorders, possibly even more serious psychoses. The studies are underway. A couple of them are pretty advanced now. Over 50 companies have already gone public that are pursuing these opportunities. And the problem with these public companies, similar to the cannabis industry, is the stocks are highly volatile, and they can run up like crazy and have a bit of a frenzy where valuations seem crazy and ridiculous, and yet money pours in, and then they will plummet, sometimes in an understandable way, sometimes for no apparent reason. And in the 2021 period, the stocks were flying high. In the last 6-8 months, they sort of crashed, and now they're starting to come back a bit. All these companies are struggling now to raise money, especially in the psychedelic space, where when you're doing drug development in kind of a biotech environment, you have a real challenge in that you have to constantly raise money because it's years before you can produce any revenues or profit. So the challenge is convincing investors to invest at all, and the challenge for investors is to convince companies to invest at low levels. So that's the challenge we're dealing with right now.